Alright, welcome back. We are on to Mission 10, The Wilds, in our ongoing series covering all of the missions in Guild Wars 1. This is our first trip into Maguma. So we're going to see some new enemies here, and I'm just going to get right into it. This mission's actually kind of long. In terms of the comp, haven't really shifted anything around. Main thing is I got to be careful around these Wind Riders because they have Shatter Enchantment. So right there, nuked my Dwarven stability immediately. So as long as I see them in the relative vicinity, I will probably not be using Conjure or Strength of Honor. And then there's two other enemies that we'll kind of need to keep an eye out for. First up, well, these entangling roots are kind of unique to this mission. If you go and attack them, they will enclose everybody around them after a few seconds, so I'm gonna wait and then run in. Nope, too slow. So you can see they kind of left everybody else behind, but they're all casters, so it's fine. And those vines will stay up until you kill the entangling roots. Which, of course, there are these life pods here to heal him. So I'll have to somewhat play a little bit more targeting them, but the White Mantle will have that covered for us. So the other enemy, so the life pods are one enemy we have to watch out for, and the other is the one I just killed, the Moss Scarab. So I don't know if you've noticed some of these Bone Fiends are enemies. That's because the skill that Moss Scarabs have, Virata's Gaze, they can steal your minions with it. So you can see those two. There it is. That one just for a second there cast Virata's Gaze. It's not stopping me from using the Minion Master, but it's just something you got to keep in mind. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the bonus rolling. We're going to leave the White Mantle Knights to their fate now as we run ahead. So this is part of what's going to make this mission take so long, is just the thing with Maguma Jungle, ambush spawns are everywhere. And I really do mean just everywhere. It gets really old really fast. So we got some more entangling roots up here that we're going to need to deal with. We're mostly past the Wind Riders though, so should be fine starting to pop my extra damage stuff. Yeah, I gotta take care of these life pods quickly because Heal Other makes it take forever to kill the entangling root. But once the entangling root's dead, there's not much else to write home about. Okay, there's another life pod. And so the Moss Scarab's another thing to keep an eye out for. Lifesteal bypasses a lot of damage reduction. It's actually pretty nasty, and it's very spammable. So don't let too many Moss Scarabs gather together in one place, because if they attack the same target, they can easily spike them. So the Life Pod Moss Scarab is actually a pretty brutal group to deal with. Which is made only worse by the fact they steal your minions, so that you can't use minions to wall them. Instead, you have to rely on spirits. If you slot in the skill Can't Touch This, it can help counter, but that would require you to slot in the skill Can't Touch This. Just for one enemy type, which granted, you're dealing with them a lot, but they aren't so overwhelming that you can't deal with them, as I'm showing here. We're continuing on our way down here. We're getting all the way to this end of the green section of the minimap. More moss scarabs. I'm just gonna summon him now. He won't live to the end of the mission, but we want the extra damage. But yeah, Vampiric Touch and Vampiric Bite and all those, most lifesteal is just armor ignoring. So it does not matter if you're a caster or not, you're just going to take a bunch of damage from it. Hopefully there aren't any more ambushes on our way out to the bonus. There they are. So these two Centaur scouts, you don't attack them, you have to wait. Once you're close enough, they start listening while you are within earshot. So we're just going to chill here a little bit, let them talk about how the strongest Centaur tribes in the Maguma jungle are meeting. They're forming an alliance against us. Which means we have to take them out. Yeah, if you attack these guys early, you cannot actually progress the bonus, so you have to wait. Take this vine seed. It's dangerous to go alone. So yeah, now that the bonus has popped up, now you can go kill him. He'll drop a vine seed there, which we will need for later. And don't worry that it's gone, because it comes back in a second. As long as the vine seed doesn't plant, it comes back. Which is important to do when you are not a caster like me. Because in the past, I used to think this was a one-go deal, like the offering in the Lesio Seaboard. But no, you can just drop it, it'll try to grow, it'll fail, and then it'll turn into a seed again. There we go, falls back to the ground. Might have been hard to see between all the spirits there, but it comes back. And you can just take it on your way. So yeah, this section right here is kind of why I'm not as big a fan of this mission and why I say it takes forever, because you have to go all the way back. It's like if I went this way, I would actually have to loop up and around and then just get back to this point. So it would be fighting more enemies just to get back to where I started. This is just faster. In fact, I shouldn't have even run up here in the first place. I should have just gone back where I came from. Got some moss scarabs there. Just them? Looks like it. Yeah, and on top of all the backtracking you have to do, you're also slower while carrying the seed. This one comes very close to being in my top 5 least favorite missions. But there are others that I dislike far more. Eternal Grove being the main one that I will complain about. I am not a big fan of that one. And then Nalani Academy is the only one we've done so far that we're not a fan of. But we're approaching the other one that I am not a big fan of. Oh hey, Gwen actually made it in with me this time. I'm not alone. But these life pods, we need to make them alone. How can we get you alone? To quote Ann Wilson. Now that song's gonna be stuck in my head for the rest of this mission. And so as not to do the great Ann Wilson a disservice, I will not sing it aloud either. Y'all can just look up Alone by Heart. And then see why I am doing it justice by not trying to sing it. Alright, Vine Seed, come back. Thank you. So now we kill the Tree of Vitality up here. So yeah, the other thing I will note about this mission is the map plays tricks on you. If you look closely at the map, it looks like you can very cleanly run right through here. But you actually cannot. At least the last time I tried, it did not let me. Yes, that's right, you can't. Here's the proof of why. That passage is right below us right now. So it actually sends you over into that group of moss scarabs, which eventually, zooming back in again, would take you up and around back to here, which is where I started my fork to get to the bonus. So it would just be fight a lot of extra enemies that you don't need to fight. So cutscene comes up here. So one thing you can do, again, if you have a good runner who can somehow get past the entangling roots on their own, you can trigger this cutscene and bring everybody over from the bonus. Or just the one dude from the bonus who went over to get the Vine Seed. Unfortunately, I am alone, so I can't do that. But it is one way that you can optimize this mission slightly, is you send one person to go kill the 2 centaurs, get the Vine Seed, and then everybody else just sits there to listen to the whole conversation while everyone else progresses. Which, if I was more confident in flagging my heroes, I might have been willing to do, but for now, that did not work well the last time when I tried to do that in Divinity Coast, with that last guy. So flagging them that far, I'm not doing it again. Or when I did it in Delisio Seaboard, that's the one that really proved it doesn't work as well. I tried to send them ahead while I was picking up the offering. But yeah, we have to run through here anyways, so we're going to go this way first. As you can see, we are dealing with a lot of centaurs. That's letting you know bonus is coming up. These guys, none of them are really that big of a problem. You just got to make sure they don't overwhelm you. So just make sure you're keeping an eye on your compass. Because I do believe there are some patrols that do full loops around this rock in the middle. So yeah, right there. That was a trap waiting to happen up ahead. Let those guys be on their way and not fight 12 centaurs at once. Instead, we'll just fight 4 at a time. So where we're aiming for is right through that little path that they all came out of. So now we'll sneak in behind them. And I will now show you how to use the Vine Seed pending any ambush spawns. Although the cutscene just now that I skipped should have shown you how the Vine Seed works. So you run up to this fancy green circle here, and then you drop it. That's it. Lo and behold. So now for the bonus, you have to find the 2 centaur bosses that were mentioned by the 2 scouts. Which, by the way, this area is really cool. Once I'm not against the cliff, I can show you. Unfortunately, you cannot explore most of it. But if you're going for Carto, make sure you spend some time scraping out here. Yeah, the area with all those houses in the back there is neat. Always been a fan. But there are 2 bosses up there. I believe it is the 2 Ellie ones specifically. So Ramtha and Horn up there are the ones that you want to get after. But there's also some other bosses to the side, so you just have to be careful about what you're pulling. That said, I did just pull the entire group there, but it's fine. We should still be able to win this as long as we take out the bunks quickly. Yeah, you can see Mesmer boss up there, Necro boss somewhere else. Don't see where. Maybe it's a random roll. But yeah, you can see them up there having their little powwow. So we'll go run up after them next. Oh yes, the humans are definitely becoming a menace again. I'm surprised they don't hit on the dwarves as much, honestly. I'd say the dwarves have more of a presence in the Shiver Peaks than we do. That's the reason that they're all so upset. Oh yeah, 2 Mesmer bosses. Or no, it's an extra Ellie boss. I'm usually used to seeing the Necro. I actually don't know what you use. You're a Mesmer, so you're higher priority no matter what for me. When in doubt, if you don't know what enemy is most dangerous, usually it's the Mesmer. Especially if you're running a large caster group. They're less risky if you're running a bunch of martial weapons. Usually they're more focused on shutting down spells than they are on shutting down skills. But certainly when skills like empathy exist that they can use on you, they can still be dangerous. Ineptitude, clumsiness, there's a couple of other Mesmer skills that can be dangerous. Looks like we'll be fighting at least one group since they were so kind as to drop a spirit right then. Kill the spirit fast enough, I guess they wouldn't have come down, but oh well. With the bonus done, we can now continue the chapter proper. Yeah, already we have spent just as much time on this mission as we had on Divinity Coast, and we're barely halfway done. As we still need to run through all of this. Which I figure, yeah, should be another 15 minutes or so. Pending ambush spawns. So yeah, the cutscene I alluded to earlier showing you how vine seeds work is specifically them building this bridge. So don't go after the boss, you don't need to. That's just extracurricular. Yay, jungle trolls, the least annoying of the enemies in Maguma. They all gather up, all nice and neat to be splinter weaponed. We're just gonna continue on our way. Spirits have got that one. But the Wind Riders are back, so to save myself the damage, I'm gonna turn off Strength of Honor. And the fastest way is, even though it doesn't look it again on the map, it looks like you should just go right and down, but this section is another log bridge. So you would actually have to go up and all the way around and then back down. So making this first left turn, again, just much easier. That's going to be the main thing that we're going to be going over as we run through these missions, is just how to navigate Maguma Jungle. Especially when we hit Aurora Glade. One thing I will note about the enchantments, though, Symbiosis gives you or Symbiosis, however you want to pronounce it, gives you so many, gives you so much extra health just for each enchantment. It's just unfortunate the Wind Riders exist to ruin it. But I've had upwards of like 1,500 health before. Ooh, that was nasty. Jungle Trolls came out in force. But the Wind Riders are a more pressing matter. Since they've all decided to be nice and get within my caster's range, may as well take out the things that actually threaten them. And then the only thing they can actually hit is me. There we go. Everyone's freed. We'll let them go after the jungle trolls if the jungle trolls decide they want to fight. You know, Livia, you could have cleared these from me. Yeah, we'll continue on our way. I don't know if you saw him chat earlier about quickly the Shining Blade must be warned. Generally, if you see the scout, you know you're heading in the right direction. So now we're going to head over to the other part of the Maguma Jungle besides Vine Seeds to know about, and that is the Maguma Jungle Waters. Specifically, when you run into them, they give you an effect. There it is. So Fonta Maguma gives you just an extra +1 health regeneration as long as you're in it. It's not enough to really justify microing your heroes into it, but if you're playing in a group, it's a nice thing to do to help out your healers. Just run into the water. So now we'll make our way around towards the boss here. Again, I'm just going to loop my way around in the water. Looks like the Legionnaire is going to die, but that's fine. We've been in this map for 24 minutes, so he wasn't going to last much longer anyway. And he got us through the main thing we needed him for getting us through, which was getting down into the water. From here, it should be pretty quick. It's just going to be ambush spawn after ambush spawn with all these spiders. Yeah, those aren't Wind Riders. As long as I don't see Wind Riders, I'm willing to pop it. So it's not going to come up because the enemies didn't spawn to make this a possibility. But we're currently crossing under the bridge at the very start. Fun fact about Guild Wars 1 combat. There is no such thing as a height difference, except for the purpose of projectiles. So if there is an enemy currently on the bridge, I can actually hit them right now with my melee weapons. Because they would be considered in range, because we happen to share the same XY coordinates, basically. So that's why sometimes you can attack things through the bridge. There you go, quickly to the camps. The Shining Blade must be warned. You can just kind of follow him, and you'll know where to go. Specifically, we are heading to this section of the wastes. I actually got through this faster than I thought. I was expecting it to take another like 5 minutes. But it certainly feels that long with all the ambush mobs popping in. So, we've headed to the camp now, and we find the Chosen here being attacked by spiders. So, just fight your way through the spiders, and the mission will be done. Still, though, this was a solid 10 minutes longer than the previous ones. Sometimes the spiders are friendly, don't know why. They convert eventually. They'll be like, oh right, I'm supposed to be attacking you. Or that just happens, they just inexplicably fall. There we go, there's the boss, so should be nearly done. And there we are. So that is the wilds, and we are immediately into Bloodstone Fen, so fortunately I don't need to run anywhere else. So that's mission 10, first one into the Maguma jungle. Again, hope these have been useful for you, and we'll be back with the next one. Stay tuned.